Hello, this is Adolf. Welcome to the video lecture series on the course of Design of Steel Structure. So already we covered two units under this course. From this video lectures, we are going to start our unit number 3, that is Design of Tension Member. So in this unit, we are going to design only a tension members, and we will have a problems that are related to the tension members. Before we are going to into the video, a small correction in the previous video lecture series in the welded connection. The final problem, what I teach you in that, I take the moment correctly, but substituting the values, I missed this L by 2 value over here. So it will 90 by 2. So 90 by 2 means it is 45. Then rest is same, the calculation values and everything is same, correct only, but I missed this 90 by 2 value, so make note of it. In this video lecture, we are going to see the introduction and what are the types of section used and what is the permissible stresses and the slenderness ratio. So let's start our video lecture series. The tension members are linear members in which axial forces will act on it. By acting while the axial forces act on the tension member, it elongates or stretches the member. That's why it called as a tension member. Tension members will elongate the lengthwise. The best example of our day-to-day life of the tension member is rope. Rope is a very good example of a tension member. This tension member carries load most effectively. Why? Because if you consider the entire cross section of the tension member, the entire cross section will undergo a uniform stress. So that's why the load carrying is most effectively in the tension member. These tension members do not fail do not fail by buckling as like compression member. It do not fail by buckling. So these are the some of the examples of the tension member construction: suspension bridge, roof truss, stayed bridge, suspended building, or X-bracing in the structure. These are the examples. If you take the suspended bridge building, this core member is called this is called core. This is suspenders. These suspenders hung from the central core. We will use these suspended buildings especially in the earthquake prone zone. Earthquake prone zone. This suspenders will minimize the inertia forces on the structures. So we will use these type of suspended building in the earthquake prone zones. Next is, what are the types of sessions used in the tension buildings? One is wires and cables, bars and rods, plates and flats, steel rolled section, and build up sections. This figure shows the build up sections. Build up sections. So if you take steel wires, these steel wires are ropes used as a suspenders. Suspenders in the suspended bridge and as a mainstay in the cable stayed building. So this will be used as the wires will be used as the suspenders in cable suspending bridges and cables and mainstays in cable stayed building. Then the bar or rod. The circular rod is used in bracing. Designed to resist tension load. Designed to resist tension load only. They buckle, these rods are buckled at very low compression, so they are not considered effectively. And the flat structures, these flat structures is best for tension member. Plates of flats would be best for tension member because this load will transfer through center of gravity of the member, through center of gravity or nearer to CG of the member. So if it is load is transferred to the CG or CG of the member, then your eccentricity will be T by 2. So if the eccentricity is less, your moment value is load into eccentricity, that will be P into T by 2. So if your eccentricity is less, your moment will also be less. That's why we consider these flat sections. The single rolled sections or double rolled sections are used in light roof structures in industrial usage, single or double angle sections. The tension member in bridge truss are made of channel, that is channel section or I sections will be used in tension members in bridge trusses we will use. Mostly they will act individually or build up section like this, any one of this. Okay, so these are the types of sections we used. Next is the permissible stresses. The permissible stresses in the axial tension on the net effective area of the section should not exceed 0.60 Fy. So Fy is the yield stress of steel in megapascal of megapascal. So if you are using 250 mm 250 mm steel means its yield stress will be 250. So 0.6 into 250, you will get 150 Newton per mm square as this permissible stress in axial tension. But the factor of safety for a tension member is equal to yield stress by working stress. Yield stress by working stress, that is equal to Fy divided by 0.6 Fy. So it will be 1.66. So the factor of safety is 1.66. So this is the permissible stresses acting on the tension member. Then the next important parameter is slenderness ratio. The slenderness ratio is defined as the ratio of its unsupported length of a tension member to its least radius gyration. gyration. Raise lambda, that is slenderness ratio, is equal to L by R minimum. It is the formula to find the slenderness ratio. So in tension member, in addition to meeting the design strength requirement, we have to frequently check the stiffness of the tension member. That's why we require the slenderness ratio. We have to ensure that the member does not sag too much during the service due to the self weight or the eccentricity of the end plate conditions. So this is the, that's why we are finding the slenderness ratio to adequate check of the free stiffness, and we have to check it does not slack too much during this service. So how we can find the slenderness ratio means length you can get. Where we will get the radius of gyration means we have to use the steel table to get the radius of gyration. So this is the steel table. For this, ISA 3020 means it is an unequal angle. In this, so many things are given. That is the thickness, what is its sectional area, weight per meter, center of gravity where it is lies, and moment of inertia. Then we have radii of gyration. So in this, there are 4 radii of gyration is there. From this 4, we have to choose the least radius of gyration. So from this, what is the least radius of gyration? 0.41 is the least radii of gyration. So then your lambda is equal to supported length by least radius of gyration. Then there is a limiting or maximum slenderness ratio. This is given by IS 800 1984 as well as IS 800 2007. So it should not go above these values. So when a tension member subjected to loads or reversal of direct stress due to loads other than wind or seismic forces, then your maximum slenderness ratio is 180. Then a member acting as a tie member in a roof truss or in a bracing system but subjected to possible reversal of stresses resulting from the action of the wind or the earthquake forces, then the maximum slenderness ratio will be 350. Then the for any other tension member, but not it is an pre-tensioned members, except pre-tension member, its maximum slenderness ratio will be 400. So if you are finding out lambda is equal to L by R minimum, this value should be less than or equal to 180 if it is subjected to load or the reversal of direct stress other than wind or seismic force, and this lambda value L by R minimum should be less than or equal to 350 if it is subjected to wind or earthquake force or any other tension member. The lambda value should be less than or equal to 400, but it should not be pre-tensioned member. This is the slenderness ratio. So In this lecture, we saw the basics of the design of tension member. From the next lecture, we move on to the how to design a tension member. Thank you.